Hello there, everybody. My name is Carrie Mubarak, and this is the medicine wheel reading for Aquarius. So, all of my Aquarian friends out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising, or if you know your chart really well and you know that you have some really key planets in Aquarius, then you can go by this reading too. The medicine wheel reading, for those of you who are new to it, is based on Native American principles and teachings. It is a healing tool, so these readings are definitely for your own healing. Healing can take place on any level, emotional, spiritual, physical, or mental. So that's what these readings are for. So it's a 5-card reading. Basically, it looks at your situation or your current situation at its core, and then it also gives you a fairly circumspect view of what's going on around you and in relationship to that by using 4 points on the wheel. So north, south, east, and west. And then the part that's in the middle, which is kind of the core. So at the very center, Aquarians, we have new life. So it seems like there's new things happening for you. You're kind of coming awake for the first time. And this is something that, or I'm not going to say for the first time, because we have different awakenings throughout our lives. So sometimes you might be at that juncture where you need to change or you need to shift, or it's time to kind of get rid of the old stuff and then move into something a little different, but that represents your higher self, that represents you making some kind of elevation. So I'm getting here that, yeah, this is a next rung for you. It's definitely a next rung, but it almost feels like everything is new. All right, and at the south we have Round and Round, but that card is in reverse. And so since I'm reading from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, she suggests that when you get a card that comes in reverse, that you read the protection message for that card. So I am going to read that to you so that you can get some insight from this deck. All right, so the protection message says, and this is in the position where you're learning new things or you're discovering new things, and since we're talking about new life, then this portion is going to be really significant to you because anyway, you're moving into something new. So it says, are you refusing to see your own personal responsibility for repeating lessons you don't need to relearn? You have to surrender now to the fact that you are the common denominator in all those repeat performances. Be happy, for this is a wonderful spot to be in. You can now see the cycles that you wish to exit. And likewise, you can see the cycles that you're trying to get into. So you're looking at those that you need to end and then looking at the new cycles or things that are opening themselves to you. Once you figure out that you have the power to stop going round and round, you possess the key to your own freedom. Be good to yourself. It's not about blame, but accountability. You can have the abundant life filled with love and prosperity that Spirit so wants for you. So here we're looking at that cycle, those cycles of life that you keep processing through. Because if you are embarking on a new life, you don't want to keep going through the old stuff. Because if you keep doing the same things and having the old habits, then you're going to keep having the same results. So you want to do something different. You want to have a different approach. Okay? All right, so in the West, which is what we call the looks behind places, it represents your past and it also represents your experiences. So there's been some messages coming through. That's what this card is, message in a bottle. So there's some messages that have been bleeding through from your past. I do want you to keep in mind that you are approaching a new phase. It's nothing wrong with hearing or seeing or reminiscing or maybe learning from some of those messages that you got from the experiences that you had in the past, but you don't want to get stuck in them. Because if you get stuck in them, then you're going to not get anywhere. And you don't want to do that. All right, in the north position, we have clean it up, but also that card came in reverse, so I will read the protection message for that card, which is right here. Is it possible you may be focusing too much on other people right now, trying too hard to be helpful? Does taking on what belongs to others make you feel needed or desired? Perhaps you think it's your calling to relieve people of their burdens, but what is the cost to you and to them? That's a good point. Don't clean up somebody else's side of the street. Don't clean up somebody else's side of the street. You're not helping by freeing him or her of responsibility. You're also not doing yourself any favors. And you just might be adding an even greater strain. You are loved as you are. You don't need to be needed to be loved. So I'm feeling some codependency here in this cycle that you're in. It could be that you're doing a lot to help other people, but you're not doing enough to help yourself. And that message has been coming through from some of your past experiences. So instead of being helpful, and I know it's going to sound really weird because it's probably in your nature to do so, but you've got to let other people process in their own time, in their own way, and in their own system. You have to do that same thing for yourself right now. So it's not about being selfish, but it is about attending to yourself. All right, and in the East position, it says no place like home. So to me, this is all getting you to focus on where this energy is coming from, where this codependency is coming from, where this cycle is coming from that you want to try to move out of, because you're really trying to move into a new phase and into a new life for yourself. This is something new. This isn't repeating the old habits. And sometimes old habits are hard to break, especially if we have some sort of attachment to them. So I'm getting here that this is something related to home. It could be a family situation. Or it could be that this is where the focus is right now, or that's where you need to focus on. But the main thing is that your home is where your heart is, where what you love, what inspires you, what fuels you, what makes you feel joyful. It's in your heart. It's not, outside of yourself. So, and I'm sure you already know that too. So yeah, focusing on a new life right now. You're focusing on getting some new life and new energy into your cipher. You need new energy, especially if you have been dealing with some codependency. I keep getting codependency, so I think that's what it is. And if you don't know about that, definitely do some reading and do some research around it, because codependency can get really deep. Like, you can be codependent and not even really know it. Okay? The main thing is that everybody is responsible for making their own progress. We are not responsible for each other in that way. Okay? So if you've got some home situations or family situations that are making some demands on you, you got to remember that some of those demands are real and some of those demands are not. And if you're feeling resentful, or if you're feeling, tired, or you're starting to, question or be resistant to people asking you to do something or needing you to do something, that's kind of a sign that you probably need to take a break. Or, I mean, not take a break like leave, but what I'm saying, like, take a break from how you approach that situation. Don't do stuff in the same way. That's this. Don't keep doing stuff in the same way, because if they keep asking you to do it and you keep doing it, then they get the idea that that's okay. And then again, the card is asking you, how is you doing that really helping them? Because everybody is capable of their own growth, and it's okay to help people and give people advice, or to lead people toward the water, but and I know, and we all know that you cannot make them drink. So it's best if they find their way. It's okay to point someone in a direction, but it's not okay for you to try to do the work for them. You can't do that. All right, so I'm going to get some clarifying cards for you for this reading, Aquarians. Some clarifying cards, please, for Aquarius. Thank you. Thank you. Well, okay. All right. All right. Well, thanks. That was quick and easy. All right, so in this new life position, we have Judgment in reverse. So you've been going through some things. You've been going through some challenges, and you've been going through a little trials and tribulations, Aquarians. That's because it's trying to get you to that other level. Whenever you get the Judgment card, you're probably going through some changes. This is in reverse, so it seems like, you know, maybe either it could be that you're not quite feeling it yet, or maybe it hasn't quite reached its pinnacle, or it could be that it's just passing, or it's just, you know, this part, or the difficult part is just ending, and that could definitely be it, since we're talking about new life. So that's in the center position. So it looks like you're going through some difficulties, some trials, some tribulations, and those aren't like what's happening outside of you. If it's manifesting itself as something outside of you, do know that it's something that you have to deal with on the inside. It's not all outside of you. It's something that you have to really look at on the inside. Something you're doing, or some attitude you have, or some belief that you have attached yourself to, that it just keeps going and it won't leave. Excuse me. And so in this position where we talked about what you're learning right now, and what you're learning is to stop going through that same cycle over and over again. We have the Four of Pentacles, and here I see it's maybe hard for you to see it in this card, but again, it's somebody showing someone how to get to something. It's like you're taking their hand and you're trying to lead them to the place, or so that they can see this beautiful bounty, but that's not your responsibility. Okay, it seems like a repeat pattern here. All right, in the West position where we had the message that was coming through, that is Wheel. That's about change. So it's letting you know that this has to change. This is something that has to shift. The Judgment card also tells us it has to shift, and this card is telling us it's time to shift. So we're getting lots of shifting cards. Time to make some shifts. I'm definitely getting codependency here. All right, so in this position where we're talking about making sure that, you know, you let other people kind of do their own work, and then you take care of yours. So you clean around your own back door before you try to sweep around mine. I know it was a song like that. Sweep around your own back door, something like that. But in that position, we have the Lovers. So this is a relationship thing, and then that definitely kind of points to here. So this looks like something happening at home for you, Aquarians. Could be in a relationship, or it could be with your family member. Any kind of relationship. It could be any kind of relationship. So it could be a spouse, it could be a live-in maid, it could be a daughter or son or mother or whatever. But whoever it is that is in your family that is drawing upon your energy, that you have been helping or assisting, it's time for you to take some time for yourself. And it's also time for that person to make the steps that they have to make. And sometimes this can be very, very difficult. It can be very, very difficult, especially if the person has become dependent on whatever it is that you bring to the table. So you may have to, you know, like take some easy steps back, or what I always say is teach people what it is that you know. So if it's something that you're doing for somebody that helps them, teach them how to do it, and then they can do it for themselves. Okay? And then in the last position where we're talking about home and family, we've got the Three of Wands in reverse, and in this image we see this man, and he's out on an island, out kind of on a little raft by himself, circling around in a little circle. See, that goes back to here. Okay? So you don't want to keep doing that. Like, you want to end that. You want to put a close to that, because it's really going to make you feel more isolated. and that's unnecessary, okay? It's like you're going to want to isolate yourself. You're going to feel like pulling yourself away from everybody because you're drained by this situation right here. And that's not the Aquarian way. You guys are 11th house rulers, so it's all about, your social life and that kind of thing. And it seems like you're being pulled away from that. Or you may feel like you want to pull away from it because you're just tired and exhausted from trying to, hold up somebody else's end or hold somebody up. We're not built for that. Okay? All right, Aquarians, I hope that this reading was helpful to you this month for the month of March. If you would like to go deeper into yourself, or if you need to look at something on a personal level, I'll definitely be happy to do a medicine wheel reading for you personally. I also do astrological readings as well. So if you need something a little more personal, reach out to me at info@wooingnature.life, and I will definitely be glad to hook you up with that. In the meantime and in between time, definitely check out the channel. We do new moon view and full moon views during the month, so if you want to get connected to your lunar cycle, you can check in on that too. And that's elemental astrology, so that's according to your signs, element: earth, air, fire, and water. If you want to know more about what we provide at Wooing Nature, you can visit wooingnature.life. And as always, I hope you have a great month, and I hope you have a wonderful life.